Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. It's our last broadcast before the holidays, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. We bring you the story of a local Palestinian family grieving the loss of loved ones in Gaza as the battle in the Middle East continues. Plus, Ernie the Bacon Man Lamont has died. The perennial Windsor City Council candidate and local meat vendor passed in hospice. And we have a special guest in studio tonight, someone who is very busy this time of year, checking lists and making sure their reindeers are well fed. A Palestinian family in Windsor is grieving after a relative in Gaza was killed earlier this month. The CBC's Dale Malner sat down with the family as the battle in the Middle East rages on. And a warning, some people may find some of these images disturbing.
Maher El-Masri and his family are still in shock after finding out that El-Masri's brother, Syed, was shot and killed in Gaza on December 5th. El-Masri says his brother was crossing a road with his son to get food for his family when he was shot by an Israeli tank sniper.
They saw the tank, but they thought, we're civilians, we're having, white flags, it's okay, we can cross the street. They went under fire immediately and they just ran for their life. The son, being the young kid he is, was able to run fast. My brother is 61 years old, recently retired, couldn't run fast enough, and he was killed. And every time they went to retrieve his body, they will come under fire from the same position tanks.
He says the body could not be retrieved for 3 days. Syed leaves behind a wife, 4 daughters, 2 sons, and 3 grandchildren. El-Masri says they have been living with relatives because they had to leave their home in Gaza City, but he doesn't know where they are now. He says to add to the pain, people can't bury their dead properly.
I watched this morning a guy, digging a makeshift grave in front of, I don't know what it is. It's like a store or in front of a building.
El-Masri says he has had trouble sleeping, eating, and drinking because he is also suffering from survivor guilt. He says life for the surviving family will now be even more difficult.
Before his death, before his killing, things were already difficult. And after he's been killed, things have become even more difficult because, to be honest with you, he's the one who kind of looked after everyone. The fear, the uncertainty, but also the feeling of helplessness on their part, because they have children that they're not able to support.
Israel and Hamas have been at war since October 7th. After many delays, the UN Security Council adopted a watered-down resolution today, calling for immediate speeding up of aid deliveries to desperate civilians in Gaza. However, it passed without the original call for an urgent suspension of hostilities between Israel and Hamas. El-Masri is hoping stories like his family's will be the key to ending them.
The more people know about the human suffering of the people of Palestine and Gaza, the closer we are to a solution.
Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
As you just heard, the United Nations Security Council has passed a binding resolution on the war in Gaza. It's a toned-down version of one that was vetoed by the United States last week. The U.S. abstained from today's vote.
The result of the vote is as follows: 13 votes in favor, 0 votes against, 2 abstentions.
The resolution does not call for an immediate ceasefire. It focuses on getting more aid into Gaza and creating the conditions for a sustainable ending of hostilities. The U.S. ambassador to the UN says it bolsters effort to alleviate the humanitarian crisis in the territory. Israel's UN ambassador criticized the Security Council, calling the resolution disconnected from reality. He says the UN should have focused on the humanitarian crisis of the hostages. An Essex photographer has been capturing the moment that a family says hello and goodbye to their baby. As the CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa reports, she's been doing it for the past few years. And a warning, this story contains pictures and details of infant death.
I didn't know what love truly was until I had him.
Amanda Levesque was about 20 weeks into her pregnancy when complications arose, and her baby boy Caleb didn't make it. Though hesitant, Levesque agreed to have a photographer come in and capture the moment.
What stuck out to you when you got the photos back and looked at them?
I guess how at peace the baby did look. That was a nice thing to see.
That was more than 5 years ago, and while Levesque says she can easily recall the emotional heaviness of those days, it's the small details she worries will get lost.
It's kind of a nice reminder to see all the little features of him that time kind of makes you forget.
It's the close-ups that Essex photographer Heather Brooks thinks are most important. Brooks has been taking pictures of stillborns at Windsor Regional Hospital for 6 years, encouraged by the loss of her own baby decades ago.
I don't have very good photos to remember his little feet, his hands, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's something that I feel is important to have because it helps you to remember.
Knowing the pain that comes with these moments, Brooks tries to blend into the background.
It is an honor to be there, and at that time, like they're going through, a terrible moment in the sense that their whole world is being turned upside down.
Despite the pain, Brooks' photos show immense love and are ones that she hopes bring permanency to the life that was.
They have these photos they can choose to share with others, and it brings the existence of that baby's life to reality, that baby really was here.
And for Levesque, the pictures also speak to a part of herself that still exists.
He's still my son, and he's still the one that made me a mom. Because I don't have a living child, people forget that I'm still a mom. Even though it's not to a living child, it still happened. He existed. So I feel like pictures kind of remind people of that.
Jennifer LaGrassa, CBC News, Windsor.
A Windsor mom is fighting to keep her son at school all day. Courtney Cameron's 4-year-old son Davis has autism. She says he has to leave early because there aren't enough educational assistants at his school to give him the extra attention he needs.
I did express to the principal that I'm not going to sit down and just wait for this to happen, that Davis deserves to be in school and he deserves to have full days, and that is going to come.
Because of the shortage, Cameron says Davis is dismissed from school more than an hour earlier than his classmates. Public School Board Superintendent Chris Boulay says there's a province-wide shortage of EAs and that they work with families, teachers, principals collaboratively to ensure that student needs are met, dependent on the resources that are on hand that day. Union leaders say the shortage has an effect on the EAs that are working and on the teachers. Ernie the Bacon Man Lamont has passed away. Known for his colorful personality and out-of-the-box ideas, he ran for Windsor City Council numerous times while also running a meat business. He has been in hospice care since mid-October. We spoke with him about 2 months ago, about the same time the mayor visited, bringing him a certificate of appreciation.
You have played a valuable role in the city of Windsor. I was able to donate food to the hospital, to the mission downtown, all the different groups downtown. Just remember it as the Bacon Man who tried to do well for the city of Windsor every day. I just feel the people of Windsor really knew that when I went to City Hall, I was doing it for them. And every time I went there, I was making sure that I was there for the right reason, to help a certain person. And I can't say no more. I think I've done a good job.
Wow. Lamont passed away late last night. He had been suffering from prostate cancer. He was 76 years old. Families say there will be a private service in the coming days. Lots of people took to social media today to offer their condolences to a man many knew as a passionate Windsorite. Police in Windsor say they have made an arrest in connection with an arson fire earlier this month. Police say they have arrested a 28-year-old woman and charged her with arson causing damage. Fire destroyed a vacant home on Riverside Drive near Almer Avenue on December 4th. No injuries were reported. Windsor police had previously released photos of a suspect in the investigation. Windsor's downtown Mission served a traditional Christmas meal today. Volunteers and staff served up turkey and all the trimmings to more than 200 people at the Mission dining room.
It's our traditional Christmas meal that we provide every year, and it's mostly due to donations of our wonderful community members. We had a lot of turkeys donated, and all of the trimming, or like the items to make the trimmings as well. So our kitchen staff and volunteers put this meal on every year.
Staff here is amazing, and they do a bunch for everyone in the community. The meal itself just brings everyone together for Christmas, you know what I mean? That might be less fortunate or not have too many things or anywhere to go in life. It's kind of like a giant family here where everyone contributes, most people volunteer here. It's just a good atmosphere and a good environment for people that have been less fortunate in life due to certain circumstances. There's so much help here. They've helped me get my life back on track. I have my own place now. As you can see, I still come back here to help every day, and hopefully we'll find employment here in the future.
As this is our last day in our studios before Christmas, the Windsor morning team was paid an early visit by a very special guest. The big guy took some time out of his busy schedule to have an interesting chat with our morning host, Amy Dodge.
Well, how did you get involved in all of this?
Honestly, the first time I did it as a favor. And in fact, I was kind of insulted that they would even think that I could do this.
Oh.
You know, and then you get with the children and you enter their world, and it's magical. Just the possibilities of what can be, to hear their dreams, their hopes, to see adults tap back into that creative side in themselves. They're, what they've always wanted to achieve, to hear about that. It's more than just toys. It's more than just gifts. You see a different side of people as Santa.
Windsor Morning might have snagged a chat with Santa, but we wanted to chat with the brains behind the operation. Thank you so much for joining us, Mrs. Claus.
You're welcome.
Is this your first time in a television studio?
Yes, this is so cool. Look at all the lights. Wow.
The lights and the cameras.
Yes.
So what kind of things are you busy with right now?
Well, we plan the route for Santa. We put all of the children's names in our book, alphabetical order. You know, that make a list and checking it twice. Well, my job is to keep Santa healthy, and the elves too.
What do you do when Santa is gone on Christmas Eve?
We follow his route just to be sure that there's no problems.
You're tracking him?
Yeah, we have a backup team just in case any of the reindeer, break a leg or something, heaven forbid. We do a lot of cleanup, and we prepare for our Christmas dinner.
Well, talk to me about your Christmas dinner. So when Santa comes back, what do you do Christmas Day?
Yeah, we do a traditional turkey dinner with all the fixings and lots of cookies. And have a dance party after all of it's done and over with. And just continue to clean up so that we're prepared for next year.
Well, because it has to be a big celebration. You've successfully delivered all these gifts.
Oh, yes, it's a big celebration.
And we're a warmer part of the country, and it is supposed to be very mild this Christmas. Does Santa and the reindeer mind these mild conditions?
No, I don't think so. I just make sure they're hydrated and, send them off with lots of water so that they can, make it through, because there's some parts that aren't that warm, so.
Your favorite part of the holidays?
I would say getting to sing and read stories to the children and meeting the children in different parts of the world is lots of fun, especially Windsor.
Thank you so much for being here, because I know you're so busy, so we really appreciate it.
You're welcome. This is so much fun.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you and yours.
A quick update now on our Sounds of the Season totals. Our cash total for donations now stands at just over $19,000, with 5,800 kilograms of food donated. and there's still plenty of time to give. You have up until December 31st. There are 3 remaining pickups for food. People can still donate at the Willisted Holiday Tours. The last tour is next Wednesday, and people are always able to drop food off here at the CBC building on Riverside Drive or donate online. You know how much I love our archives, and I found something that certainly got me into the holiday spirit. I hope it's the same for you. As we go into the commercial break, here's some footage from 1981 of the Maplewood Singers singing carols in Ojibwe Park. A lot of us might be dreaming of a white Christmas, but for many it may remain just a dream. In parts of the country, like here in Windsor, the white stuff is failing to fall. Here's the CBC's Terry Reith.
It may be almost Christmas. The decorations are up, but in many parts of Canada, one thing is missing: snow.
I mean, it doesn't look like winter, doesn't feel like winter, and I'm talking about coast to coast.
In Edmonton, at least there's ice to skate on.
It was my nephew's birthday yesterday and he wished for snow. And my dad likes a cross-country ski and he's waiting for snow. But we'll just make the best with what we got.
In normally frigid Regina, it's too warm to even make ice. And in Kamloops, they're golfing.
Well, the weather's nice, so it's good for golfing. I'm surprised there's not many out here, but they'll be coming.
We're just not living up to our reputation as the Great White North. We may be great, but we're not as white as we have been or could be.
On this cross-country ski trail, the only snow is what they make. But for the moment, they're adapting, even hosting competitions that moved here because of the lack of snow elsewhere.
We're prepared and planning that will be on 100% man-made snow as well.
At this Toronto Christmas market, some people are missing the white Christmas.
Takes away the kind of the atmosphere of, Christmas time for me. Like, I always think of Christmas being white, and no snow now or 3 days out makes it a little upsetting, but I guess you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day, right? Keep it festive.
I think we see the trend. We see in 2050, this may be the norm. This might be what Christmas is about in Canada, where we don't see the white and the cold. It's because of global warming.
Canada just went through its worst wildfire season ever. There are concerns now that with this warm, dry weather, next spring could be even worse. Terry Reith, CBC News, Edmonton.
Here now with our holiday weather forecast is Victor Paulo.
Meg, hope you're having yourself a great day. A couple things to look forward to. As you can see behind me, we're expecting some precipitation when it comes to tonight in the Windsor area. It will be a wet weekend, but once all those wet days, are behind us, it's going to be some more above seasonal temperatures. By above seasonal, we're going to be expecting a streak of days where it's going to be double digits all the way from Monday next week, lasting all the way to about Wednesday. Now, we do have cloudy skies, which will also be a consistent theme this week. When we look at our maps, we'll see exactly where it's going to be the most cloudy. Now, average temperatures time of year, 0.8 is your average high, and minus 5.8 is your average low. Now, the warmest day in 1941 for December 22nd was 12.8 degrees. But that coldest day at minus 21 must have been a chilly one. Now, here's what's happening. Here's a system coming off of the Colorado low, and that's bringing a lot of rain our way, but not too much rain. How much rain are we going to be expecting? Well, not so much closer to 10, 15, but probably a little bit closer between the 8 to 10 millimeter mark. As you can see, majority of the rain is going to be coming towards Saturday morning. By the time you get through Saturday morning into the afternoon, the skies will start to clear up. A bit of scattered showers throughout the rest of your Saturday into the overnight, but then once all that's said and done and we get closer towards your Sunday and into Christmas morning, it's going to be more of just a cloudy sky variety of weather. That's what's going to be coming our way. No more rain, no snow either, just more of the cloudy skies is what's going to be consistent over the Windsor region. Now, how much rain is going to fall between now and, let's say, halfway through the afternoon on Sunday? Well, as mentioned, under 10 millimeters. We're expecting around 8 millimeters to fall. Not too much rain, but definitely enough to make sure that if you are outside, you want to bring an umbrella and maybe some rain boots as well, too. Now, how much is going to come into tonight? What will the temperatures drop down to? Well, tonight, it's going to be dropping down to about 4 degrees. We're expecting some rain to fall, and it will feel like 0. And we're expecting that rain to last all the way through until about halfway through the day for Saturday. So if you have plans to get out there, get your Christmas shopping done, you want to make sure you're taking some extra precaution on the roads because there's nothing worse than wet roads, which can make braking a little bit not as easy. Now, hope you have yourselves a happy holidays. And over to you, Meg. Hope you have yourself a great weekend.
Rain boots for Christmas. Thanks for that, Victor. Coming up, we have another holiday musical performance from 1981. Stay tuned. In a snowy yard in a quiet neighborhood, there's a Charlie Brown-like Christmas tree. It's a local landmark at this time of year, decorated with baubles, lights, cards, and doggy treats. It's a go-to destination for pups and their people. CBC producer Wendy Parker paid a visit.
Okay, we're going to put a few more treats here. I think about 20 years ago, our dog passed away about that time, and we decided in the winter it was nice to see the other dogs out for walks. And our children had all grown up, our grandchildren were moved away with family. So we began to put our tree outside. Let's put it over here. I get the tree that they can't sell, because I think every little tree should have a chance. And we put it up out here for the dogs and decorate it. And we were hanging candy canes for the children and little doggy bones for the dogs. Did you get that one? Pull it. There. There you are. When people came, the dogs would be at the tree, they'd take a picture of them, you know. So we'd sometimes get copies of the picture. Sometimes they were printed on a piece of paper and then tucked inside a card. And we tried to hang them all on the tree. Thank you so much for doing this every year. It was always a highlight of the holiday season and our walks with Rosie, who we said goodbye to in November. Wishing you a lovely holiday season. Happy holidays. Hi. It makes me feel the season, and how much it means to people, how much their pets mean to them. Bye, Rosie. We have lots of dogs. We have more dogs than people. The whole neighborhood's gone to the dogs. We're running out of cookies here, Simon. The people seem to enjoy it and come by, and it was so nice to see everyone smiling at Christmas and kind of happy about the time, you know. Well, it's grown and grown, and now we have people across the street. They bring boxes of doggy bones for us, so we put them up in the tree. It's our Christmas present to and from the neighbors. We give it to the neighbors, they give it back to us. And it just feels good. Hi, Annie. Annie, would you like a cookie? Eh? There, that's a good one. There. Oh, you're a good girl. Yes, you are. Dogs are more than just little creatures, aren't they? They mean an awful lot to people. And it's important for the people to have that, to remember. And when they come by, they do remember. But you know, I've never seen anybody go by who hasn't smiled. You can find the tree anytime you want, eh?
Okay, we'll be back. Thank you, Bill. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. From all of us here at CBC Windsor, we are wishing you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thanks so much for tuning in. From 1981, here is the 100 voices of the Windsor Community Choir, accompanied by the Windsor Chamber Orchestra at Windsor's Church of Ascension.